Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Papa Lim Physics Classroom. Okay, for the past 10 days, right, I've been using this device management app known as Lightspeed for my teaching. Okay, so today I will be going through the basics of using this Lightspeed DMA software. Okay, so that teachers in Singapore can actually try out this DMA device during their lesson. One of the main reasons I use is that I have been actually noticing that most of the students, sometimes when we use laptop in class, not all of them are really 100% focused on the task at hand. So they'll be like maybe alternate tapping, or maybe like switching their tabs to maybe like YouTube, or maybe doing their own stuff. So one of the most common solution that I encounter is actually trying to see if I can control what they're watching on their screen. That's how I end up with this device. This they know as Lightspeed. Okay, so today I'll be running through how the advantage and disadvantage of using Lightspeed in our lesson. Of course, I've been only using it for 10 days, so I'm not like a total expert. So I will run through from my point of view what are the advantage and what are the disadvantage of using Lightspeed in class. Everybody will come to this landing page whereby it's a login page for Lightspeed. So the first thing is log in through your MOE email account. Once you're in, okay, you log in, you will see this particular interface. On the left-hand side, you will see your class, and teaching member will be the teachers involved. So today we'll run through the basic pertaining to setting up of your classes, adding the students, and how to use some basic function for Lightspeed so that we can control students' usage of laptops or the content of they are watching when we are having our lesson. Now, we can see right now I have 4 classes set up. If you're a new user, you'll find that my classes here will be blank. So what you do now is you add your classes. Okay, so when you add your classes, so let's say for this particular event, let's set up this group called test. Okay, so once you set up the particular test, so once you set up, okay, a class by the name of test will be set up. Now, at this interface here, you'll find that this is your class. The small icon here will be the name, or what you call the creator of the class, or teacher of the class here. Okay, so on the bottom right, you'll see the basic function whereby you have the class setting and the delete class function. We will go through the class setting later. Okay, so once you are ready, you will actually go through you enter, double click to enter the particular segmenting here. Okay, so now what we are looking at, so if there's an empty class, so the first thing you will do is actually to add the student. By adding student, there are 2 methods. One is by their email address. The other way is by their email, by the invite codes. Okay, so in class, during your class, you can actually send the codes to them, okay, so that they can enter the code and directly enter your class itself. But if you use this method, right, you actually need to meet the student face to face first, so that they pass them the code so that they can access. For the past 10 days I've been using it, I prefer this email address. Of course, the hassle is that you need to add in the student one by one. So if you have a class of 40, you literally need to type 40 email address. Okay, so but the good thing about this particular method by email address is that once you added them, it will be auto added to the class in Lightspeed. So you don't need the student to actually click on the approve button. So the effects of adding adding the students to the class is almost immediate. So let's take a look. So now I added the students, immediately they appear already. If you use the invite code, you need them to click on the yes to join. So once they join, they are here already. So in this particular case, right, I have added 1 students. The good thing about this Lightspeed versus other DMA software that I've used is that once I added the students, right, the moment I start the class, I do not need to actually re-add them again. They'll be like permanently inside. So there isn't a like login and re-login process for each lesson. So let's take a look. So once you added them, the most obvious one is that you can start the lesson straight away. So you can start the lesson, okay? So you can set on the duration, okay? Then you can start the lesson straight away. If you have 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you can choose different timing. Alternatively, you can also look at the schedule. Okay, you can add the schedule of when your lesson will start, and as a result, the device the DMA device will actually start it will start automatically now. We go through the basic one, which is this. Okay, if you added the wrong students, okay, on the top right hand corner here, you will see this delete. So you just remove students. So you just remove the student now. Now, let's say before you start the lesson, there are some function that you may want to take a look. This particular tab here is pause internet. So once you start the class, Okay, if you don't want the kids to access internet, you click on this button, you disable all the internet for the students in this particular class. The other one we look at is web rules. Web rules is there have a allowed list and you have a block list. So far I use the allowed list more often, in the sense that when I activate this allowed list, by default all the websites are blocked. So what I need to do is I need to whitelist, or I need to select the URL that I need, so that I can actually, I can actually give the students access to this website. So for example, in this case, I actually have whitelisted these 7 websites here so that the students can access. Okay, so other than these 7, the moment when the kids access other website, they will block. Okay, so for example, if you are here, okay, so once you're here, you can add the URL and you can just type on the URL. For example, press enter, you type on the URL, for example, google.com. Okay, so once you're okay with it, once you're okay with the thing, you just enter. Okay, you find it's a tick and the website is whitelisted already. Okay, so let's say if I don't want, you can just click on it. Okay, just delete away. Okay, so you can delete away. Then once you are okay with the list, you press the bottom right, update list, so that the list get updated. Now, under the web rule, right, there is this advanced function. So full access when done, okay, so when the kids completed, they will click done. Then this allowed sign-on. So far, I have not used the full internet access. I tried the SSO, the single sign-on. The SSO, I believe, right, it works the function that there are some pre-whitelisted website in the system itself, in Lightspeed system. But the bad thing about it is that some of the whitelisted websites are not what I use in class. So by allowing this function, it doesn't actually help in during my lesson. So normally during my classes, I actually don't check on this SSO. So once you are okay with this, okay, so this is the list of websites that you want the students access. You press select list. Okay, so you'll be selected this, you apply. Okay, so you apply the list already. So now what you're going to do is you're going to start the lesson. Now, one thing before you start lesson is just take a look at the view function here. Now, the view here is the mode. Okay, you can change to list or change to grid. Personally, I like to use the grid function because later on you'll see that if I use the grid function when I start the class, I actually can see a short preview of the students' browser, what they are doing here on my laptop if I on the grid function. Okay, later you take a look. Okay, so now what you do is you want to start a lesson. So let's say I will start the lesson for 15 minutes lesson, you press start. Okay, so now once the lesson is started, okay, you'll find that if the students is on other website other than the one listed on your system, you'll find that their website will be blocked. So you can take a look. Now, once the lesson start, okay, you'll find that the icon here will change. Okay, as of now, this small picture here, okay, is what the students is accessing. Okay, and the bottom left here will tell you that the students actually have 5 tabs opening on their desktop. So you can take a look at their app. So these are app that's been blocked. So you take a look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the 5 that's been blocked. Okay, you'll find that all top 3 are device. You have this thing called device.classroom relay. This means that the device, the particular website has been blocked by the Lightspeed. Then you'll find that there's one website that's quite nice one. Yes, this one, where this is the one that you are blocked. So let's say example, right? If this happens to be, let's say you want to close the browser, the tabs on the student website, maybe it's on the wrong tab. So what you do is you click on here, you just close that tab for them. So when you press, one of the tab will disappear. Okay. Now, on the bottom left, you have lock screen. I think it's quite straightforward. Lock and unlock. You can send a link to them. So what happens when you send a link to them? So when you send the link to them, let's say we go by the Kahoot. Okay, so if I send I want the student to access this link, so I will send the link to them. So the moment when I send the link to them, this particular link will be open in a new tab in their browser. Let's take a look. Okay, so you send to them, so immediately you will see that on the screen they will pop up a Kahoot. See? Take a look on the screen, they'll pop up. So now, just now was 5 tab, now you have a 6 tab here. Okay, so now if you want to you want a bigger icon, right? So what you do is you click on it, you'll see the bigger icon here. Okay, the good thing about Lightspeed is the software are quite intuitive. So let's say when you click on it, you have a bigger version of the thing. So you can actually close the website. On the other hand, you also can look at the history, what the students have browsed for this today, and maybe if you want like yesterday. So you just need to wait for a while for it to populate. Okay, so like, well, yesterday I wasn't doing anything, so there isn't any website here. Recording, so far for the last 10 days, I never used anything, so I have no idea what it does. Okay. Now, then after that, you have this send messages. Send messages, the moment you see this, okay, the moment you see this, you send message, okay, you'll find that it can be a simple message, okay, customized message you will send, okay, you send a message, it will pop up on the bottom right of their screen, okay, like this. So the students can reply or raise hand in class. Okay, so you don't need to you don't need to shout across the class lah. Okay, now, so let's say as of now, let's say for now, if you want to remove you want to let students access all the website, so you don't want to block them anymore. So what you do is you disable your web rules. So how we do it on the top left hand here, the top right hand here, you click on the web rule, you find this is enabled, right? So if you look at the student screen now, okay, some of the websites are blocked like this. So this means the website are blocked. So you want to let them have access to it. So what you do is you have to unblock them. So you remove this whitelist. Okay, if you uncheck this, means you're allowing them to have full access to internet. Okay, so let's take a look. So now I off the white rule, so they have full access to the internet. Okay, so the students link are reloads. Okay, so you'll find that they are able to access all the website already. You take a look. So they'll be able to access all the website, the YouTubes, without any problem. Okay, so as of now, okay, let's take a look. So if the students can, they can access the internet. So you can see that the student is watching YouTubes. So you find that, you see all these tabs, okay, are no longer blocked. Okay, are no longer blocked. They are able to access the internet. Okay, so they are here. So let's say example, right? Same thing. So now you have enabled the website. So let's say you want to, let's say you don't want the students to access this particular website. Okay, maybe you don't want him to access Kahoot. Okay, you can actually close for him or her. You close here. Okay, so if you close the link, okay, on the student laptop, that particular link will disappear. Okay, so now let's say you want to enable only one website. So now if you want the students to maybe access a particular website, so you can view your list. Okay, so let's say if you enable the web rule again, all the website will be blocked except for this website here. So if you want a new particular website, you can add in your URL. Okay, so that the kids can access to it. Okay, so this is what I've done for whitelist. So same thing again, I repeat again, I apply, all the website will be blocked straight away, except for those that is in the list. It's quite, I would say like, usually in class, I need to wait for like maybe 30 seconds before everything take effect. So it's actually quite, I would say it's quite good for a DMA device. Now, after this, okay, so let's say you want to end the class early. Okay, let's say we want to end the class early. So not like you say at the top right hand side here, you see this 9-minute left. So you want to end early. So you go to the gear button. Okay, so you can just press stop. Okay, then the class will stop and the students will have a free access, free internet access. So let's say now you finish this class, you want to go back, then you are on the way to the next class. So when you reach the next class, you can actually do the same thing again. So you can actually click on other classes and you can start the process again. Now, for the past 10 days, right, I've been using Lightspeed for my classes. Now, one of I would say the one thing that I'm the most impressed is that the fact that Lightspeed is actually allow me to control the students' web browser and internet access actually with ease. Within 30 seconds, I would say the most delay is at 30 seconds. Okay, I will be able, the students will actually feel the impact of you blocking the internet, controlling their screen, all these things. So they literally, because of that, they know that they have to be on task lah. They have to be on task. Okay, if not the teacher will know what they are browsing. So that's like a good monitoring point for us as a teacher in class. The other good thing about what I call the Lightspeed is that it's internet based. So which means that if I can actually start my class, okay, on Zoom, and he or she is at home, be at Tanjong Pagar or Clementi, right? The moment I start the web group, because she's in my class and she's using the laptop, logging into the student's account, she will be subjected to the web groups. So literally, I can actually control their internet access, even they are in my Zoom lesson. So even though they are not face-to-face in the same network as me or in the same class as me. So that's one good thing I'm quite impressed with Lightspeed. Okay, one of the fallback I have is actually the web groups. The web group, although it's powerful, but because it block everything, because I use the allow list. So because I block everything except this, sometimes in my lesson, I will require them to actually need them to Google. So if they need to Google, I need to unlock it. If I whitelist Google, the problem is that if I whitelist Google, right? If I whitelist only the Google side, okay, what will actually happen is that, so if they Google, so I allow Google, okay, the google.com, so they are able to access this this landing page. But the moment they click on other links that bring them out of Google website or Google domains, they will be blocked. Because remember, I use the allow list, the allow mode. Okay, so allow mode by default block everything except those that have been whitelisted. The moment they go out of the Google domains or you go to other domains that is not whitelisted, it will be blocked. So that's why if you have lessons that require the kids to do a bit of Googling, Lightspeed might be a problem if you block it. So that's one of the pitfalls I had. So of course, sometimes one way I find I can override, not override, I can work around it without letting them have access to Google is actually to maybe have that, maybe whitelisting ChatGPT. Okay, so instead of allowing them to search online on Google, I encourage them to actually search on ChatGPT. So ChatGPT like those more database. So of course there are links that ChatGPT will give lah. So maybe before they access the particular link, they can look for me, then I can whitelist the thing for them. The other one that I have encountered is that I discovered that students don't really use bookmark. So every time they will just Google. The students, what they do is they will actually go on Google, they will actually search SLS. Then after that, they'll click on this particular website first. So it's learningmoe.edu first. So for Lightspeed, you need to whitelist this landing page first before you go to the VLE landing page for the SLS, the landing page. Okay, so if you are using Lightspeed, one thing to take note is that the web rules is important. The list I provided here are not comprehensive, but some of the URL that I use. But if you are using other website, the first lesson that you encounter maybe will be more like a troubleshooting lesson whereby where the student will come to tell you what are the website that you need to complete your assignment. So usually the first lesson that I encounter for my side is that I'll spend most of the time like adding the whitelist, adding links to the whitelist or deleting the links from the whitelist. So the first lesson usually is more like troubleshooting to get everything in place, everything in order. Then the second lesson, when I start the lesson, the assignment proper, all these things, when I started the whitelist, the allow list, okay, then the students will actually be able to do it quite seamlessly. So the third and fourth lesson is actually quite easy already. Most of the students, when they go, they actually expected that in class, okay, only certain website can use. For example, I'll be using SharePoint, booklets, via Kahoot and maybe SLS. Okay, so these are the few sites they know they can access, okay, when I'm having my lesson. So after that, if you have new website to give them, let's say YouTube, you want them to access, you have to send them the link, or you have to unblock them. Okay, so the last one is stopping lesson. Once you have it, okay, you can actually, once you're done with your lesson, you can actually stop it. Okay, so normally rule of thumb I learned from my lesson is that if I have a 1 hour lesson, I will try not to use 1 hour. I will try for 5 minutes so that you end early. So rule of thumb for those using Lightspeed, if you start the lesson, okay, the class duration you set it to be like slightly lesser than your full duration, to be on the safe side. Okay, so with this, okay, this is where I and off. Okay, but last but not least, okay, if you are you also using Lightspeed and you have more function than if you have used more function than me, okay, please leave a comment at the link below my YouTube channel so that I can actually learn from you to see what are the good things that we can actually sieve out from this DMA, this DMA Lightspeed, okay, this classroom management system. Okay, if not, this is where I end up. Bye bye, everybody.